Stonewall for me was something that really meant a lot. There was a lot of civil unrest everywhere. I was 13 at the time. I was already aware that I was gay, and it was very difficult, especially during the 60s. There is a tremendous interest now in Stonewall as an historical event of liberation that was really important. This group is very interested and will always represent the best that can be offered in terms of inclusiveness and inspiration, empowerment, and enlightenment.
I grew up in suburban New Jersey, about an hour away from New York, and I was 14 when Stonewall happened. The combination of the liberation movement and the fact that we had proven to the cops that they couldn't push us around meant that we were actually gaining clout. I hit New York about 5 years later, and it was an extremely gay place. I don't know that Stonewall necessarily caused the gay community to become emboldened, but Stonewall became that really easily identifiable moment when the movement became a movement.
Stonewall gave us a point every year to mark on the calendar to celebrate who we are. If it wasn't for what happened a year after Stonewall in 1970, we would not even remember Stonewall, because what happened at Stonewall was there was so much energy that something had changed, and they wanted to capture that energy, and they thought, what do we do, what do we do? And somebody had the idea that a year after Stonewall to have a march to commemorate it. And that was the beginning of the first Gay Pride March. And that gave us the tradition of having the Gay Pride marches every June. And so if it wasn't for that first set of people that thought, we gotta do something, that first march, that's what set the whole thing in motion. So for me, how that has affected me has been to be able to celebrate who I am every year at that time of the year.
Not just a movement about gay men, but a movement that is much more diverse and much more inclusive. And I think it also shows that there was a moment where the community was pushed to a breaking point, where that moment where that police raid happened in 1969, and the community fought back against the police and against the raid. And it shows that, you know, if you just take that step, that little spark can start an entire revolution and a new movement. It's going to be big, it's going to be spectacular.
It's an embracing or an act of specifically acknowledging the people who, in many cases, their lives were threatened during that event. It was not a safe thing to do. Their lives had no value to the forces that were against them. And that has to be acknowledged.
It's good that we can celebrate our history, and it's good that our history is in the books, rather than like growing up in school and, you know, they whitewash, for the lack of a better word, the history books. And you don't know what's going on, what really happened, until you're all grown up and years later and you go, oh, I didn't know that happened. I didn't know about this person or this person. And the same thing with the gay community. It's like, we have a history, we're going to claim it and we're going to celebrate it. And for lack of any other place, Stonewall's a great way to say that's where it began.
It was a tipping point, though.
Yeah.
Socially, politically, we've had enough. We matter, our lives matter, our feelings matter.
And we're going to sing about it.
And every time we put that out, even if there's only one person in the audience that hears it, the fact that it's touched one life is all the validation we need.